Because then it's like you can say your own kid smells and tell them to go take a shower. But then it's like to tell your it's like I feel like bad. I don't want to like offend them. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But like, why is it that I can tell my own kid? I'd be like, yeah, go smell. You friggin' stink. You know? It's different when it's not your kid.
You gotta get on my level.
Hey, I'm Leah Vandale, and this is Hot Mom Shit, the podcast where we live in the and. We're going to laugh, we're probably going to cry, and I'm definitely going to say something I probably shouldn't. If you've ever looked like a babe on the outside while completely losing your shit on the inside, you are exactly where you need to be. Well, welcome back to another episode of Hot Mom Shit. I'm not like a regular podcast. I'm like a cool podcast, you know. I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous because I've had only one guest on before. So I'm a little nervous. So everyone who's listening, bear with me. I hope I don't fuck it up too bad. I just want to like do my best and be amazing. But I'm really excited because today I have two very special guests. I'm a stepmom. I'm pretty sure most of you listening know I'm a stepmom, but I don't really talk too much about, you know, the ins and outs of stepmom life. I talk about my stepkids a lot, but just like normal life shit. So I'm really excited to have Alyssa and Becca on the podcast today. They have their own podcast called Stepmom Side Chats. They have big social media following, talking all about stepmom life. And I'm so excited that I found you guys. So welcome to Hot Mom Shit.
Oh, thank you for having us. We are thrilled to be here, Leah. We're a big fan of yours, so.
You're so sweet.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I think I found you guys because you liked one of my reel of telling my stepkids that I was pregnant the first time.
Yes. We were creeping.
It was so cute. No, I love that.
Lurking.
And I saw that I got a notification. I was like, what is this? And not that I didn't think that stepmoms, like stepmom podcasts or stepmom platforms or support groups were a thing. I just have never sought it out. I've never really I'm just like a stepmom living my life and I don't even really think about it like on the daily. So when I saw your page, I was stalking it and I immediately followed. And I was just like, I felt seen. I felt heard. I was like, holy shit, these are so many things that I think about on the daily and have never voiced and never talked about. And so it was immediate follow, immediate listen for all of your podcasts. I'm so grateful I found you guys.
Well, following you're obviously an amazing stepmom, and having you on the podcast, I realized that people out there can actually enjoy their time with their stepkids. So you're doing it really well. So I'm very impressed. I applaud you for that.
Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves? You guys can rock, paper, scissors, who goes first. And then just explain a little bit about like how you guys know each other. And, you know, I want to get to know you guys a little bit more.
Yeah, sure. My name's Rebecca Taylor. I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I've grown up here basically my whole life. My husband, he moved here about 10 years ago. We've been together for about 8 years now. We've been married for about 3. He had 3 kids prior. I have one bio son with him. They aged from 20 years old to 4 years old. So big age range, 2 bio moms. I work in education and I am a professor. That's what I do in my day-to-day job. And Alyssa and I met in college at a Christian college in Texas. She told me this after. I didn't know it was called this, but it was the armpit of Texas. So we
Abilene.
Oh, Abilene. Oh my God.
Yes. And so we both went there. We both hated it and we left after the first year. But the first year we just really connected right off the bat. We're finally someone who's like us. We just kind of felt lost there, I think. As far as friendships go.
We nearly got kicked out. So we left by choice, but we knew if we didn't leave, there was no chance.
Yeah, there was no chance.
Wait, why?
A private university with a girl from Vegas and a girl from Dallas, Texas. Come on.
Okay, gotcha.
Everyone else there was from Abilene or Lubbock or a town you never heard of. They would literally look at us and be like, oh my gosh, you're from Dallas.
Yeah. They're like, what's Las Vegas like? I'm like, it's fine. It's just
it was so wholesome. They're the best people. But Becca and I bonded by being the outsiders. We just didn't fit in, and we were obsessed with each other though, and we've been friends ever since.
I love that. And you guys still are in touch. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think a lot of people that come across our page, they don't realize that we actually are friends. They're like, how do you guys do this together? How'd you find each other? I'm like, whoa, we found each other. You know,
Right, long time ago.
God looked over us in college and was like, finally, I got these two together, these two crazy kids.
Definitely.
Alyssa, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself, your situation as with stepkids and all of that?
It is quite a situation that I have. My husband and I have been married for 5 years. So I talk about this on our podcast a lot, but, his ex did choose to leave for her coworker, who she's still happily married to. So when I met my husband, I thought, okay, this is all great and kosher, and we're all going to, play well in the sandbox together. And that's how it was. And that's why I married into it. And I think that's the big misconception for a lot of stepmoms, is that it's going to be like that forever. And then, we hear all the time, you knew what you signed up for. It's absolutely wrong, because it changes and it comes with an ebb and flow. And I have 2 stepkids who I love them dearly, but I am struggling as a stepmom with their evolution in my household, and how they're changing, how they're, perceived by their own mom. Their bio mom is really high conflict. And she has a hard time with them having a happy life in our house. So I do talk a lot on the high conflict side of things. We've been in and out of court. We've dealt with CPS. So whereas you have a very positive relationship with your stepkids, and Becca has 2 bio moms she deals with. One is high conflict and one is not. And so we kind of we're full circle here.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of every end of the spectrum. So it's really just, it's eye-opening for me, especially talking to you guys. I was full disclosure, I was on their podcast a couple weeks ago. We recorded with each other, and just hearing your stories and other stories, even from your Instagram, it's crazy to me how different every situation can be. Was there a specific point or moment where you guys felt like you had to create this community, you had to start a podcast? Like, what was it that was like, okay, this is something here, we need to talk more about what's going on?
There have been so many moments. Well, so basically, long story short is we were like best friends in college, and we still like kept in touch, obviously, but not as frequently as we do today, obviously. So we started texting each other, and she's like, yeah, I married a guy with kids. And I was like, oh my gosh, I did too. And we're like, how's it going for you? And she's like, and we started just really telling each other how it was really going for each other. And so we just became super, super close again through that, texting each other all the time, calling each other, just like finally felt for me like I had someone else who understood. I felt so alone and just so crazy for the thoughts I was having. And I was like, Alyssa, do you think this too? And she's like, yes, I do too. And like, I just didn't feel as bad anymore. And so we just were always talking. We're like, we should have a podcast. And I actually think it was, let's give credit where credit's due, I think it was her mom actually who was like, why don't you and Becca start a podcast and just talk about what you guys talk about and see how it goes? And that's what happened. I think it was December, right, Alyssa? And here we are.
Yeah, and it's really true how so many people feel validated just by us saying things that they don't get to say. And I've noticed that a lot of people are kind of just saying they're looking for their Becca to their Alyssa. I know you are the same way. You said you're kind of in your own boat on your own island. Like, it's so hard to find a stepmom community or stepmom friends.
Totally. I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone who's a stepmom. My parents are still together. Like, everyone in my family is still together, whether they should be or not. Like, that's remains to be open.
Right.
But like, it's just, I feel so alone. And there's things that I've internalized and thought, but just kind of like you move on from. But reading, they have this thing, you guys, on I think it's on Sundays, right? Where you do like what is the exact name of it? Like, it's just the confession.
Sunday Stepmom Secrets.
Yes, Sunday Stepmom Secrets.
Totally confessional.
And I live for these because I read them and I'm like, first of all, holy shit, like, some people have it crazy bad, like the things that they're going through with their families. It really is crazy, and it makes me feel a little less like nuts. But then I also feel so validated and seen in like things that other people are saying. I would never say out loud. I would never want my stepkids to hear me think that or like know that that's like, because it's not coming from a bad place, but it's like, oh wow, okay, I'm not the only one that thinks like this.
Oh yeah, that's the validation is part of it, and the secrecy part. A lot of people do not feel like they can say certain things out loud. We get asked that a lot. Like, how do you do this with your bio moms? What if they hear and stuff? And, at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech. I've asked my lawyers, my attorneys, I don't drop names either, but it is freedom of speech. And I'm just telling my story and what's happened. But a lot of people want to hide behind their mask, and that's okay. And if they're scared, they have then options like our membership or the Sunday Stepmom Secrets, where they can let loose and unload what's on their mind. And then, it's, I think, a relief for some people.
Was there one confession that made you guys feel like, okay, so many women are carrying this and it just felt like you needed to do more with it?
That's a really good question. There's two that I see. Becca's probably going to agree with this. One is that a lot of stepmoms have issues with the communication with their husband. They want to know so many things about how to tell their husband to like put boundaries up with the ex, or how to tell the ex off. There are so many stepmoms struggling with this. And I wish we had like a playbook or a manual for this. And we are working on some things that are going to help the stepmoms. But it is so sad to see how this just breaks up marriages. It completely, and it's someone's ex breaking up a marriage. Like, that's all of our worst nightmares, I think.
Yeah. No, I didn't expect to see so many stepmoms reach out to us and tell us how much they're struggling in their marriage because of communication. Like, they feel like they can't tell their husband things because it hurts their husband's feelings, and they get defensive if it's about the kid. Like, oh, you say something, oh, you must hate being a stepmom. You must hate, my child. And it turns into an argument, and it's just, communication in a marriage is so difficult as it is, especially to learn in those beginning years. And then you add the extra layer of having stepkids and that are not biologically yours. So your husband is going to feel some type of way about their kids. They're going to be defensive. And it's hard to bring that up in a way that lands nicely, that you can all talk about it. So that was one of the things I was like, oh, okay. So everyone is struggling with this. I don't think we talked to one stepmom who is like, oh, my marriage is perfect. I can talk to my husband about stepkid, blended family things. No problem. Not one person has said that.
How do you guys manage talking to your husbands about his biological kids?
I say this a lot in our membership on our one-on-ones. I tell them that it's an early on discussion that you have to set. And if it's past the boat, and it's outside of that realm where it's a little too late, you have to then go in with it at a different angle. It can't be, these are the expectations and the boundaries I want to set. It has to be something, it has to sadly come from a softer landing point of, we all have to kind of suck up to our husbands a little sometimes. And it's like, look, I love them, but I miss me and who I was, and I want to be that for you. And it's putting an angle and a twist on it so that the men are like, oh yeah, I want my hot wife back. Let's let her get her gym time back, or whatever it is. Sure. That it's just a way to make them hear. We want to speak to their heart and not just talk at them. Because another thing that we hear so many stepmoms dump is that it's sad, but they say they don't love their stepkids. And I get it. That's okay. Sure. And that's It's hard. But that is what do you do with that? Right. I can't help you love your stepkids. I can only help you, manage your life and take care of yourself in the meantime.
Yeah. What about you, Becca?
So my husband is very blunt and honest. Alyssa knows this. So, however, I think also people who are blunt and honest, they're more sensitive in a way inside. So I think he has the sensitive side. So in the beginning, it is no secret, we really struggled. It was really, really difficult for me because think about it from his point of view. He never had to ask someone else hey, the kids are coming this day and then they're leaving this day. And that was one of my biggest things is I need to know. I'm such a type A person. I want to know the day they're coming. I want to know the day they're leaving. Not because I'm oh, I can't wait for them to leave. It's not like that. I just need to know I'm a planner. Alyssa is my business partner and best friend. She knows that about me. It's just my personality. So it's so difficult for me. And once I kind of communicated with him after a couple years in a way that didn't make it seem oh, I hate your kids, I don't want them here, and made it more about personality and all of those things, it was easier to communicate. But I'm never going to sugarcoat it or lie. It's still sometimes hard because those are his kids. And so if you say something, they might hear something different because the love that you have for your biological kids, which I'm sure we'll talk about here soon, is just so unconditional and unexplainable that we just don't get that, like I feel like I could say that and I'm not meaning it a certain way, but they take it a different way. So, like Alyssa said, I've just really tried to work on my tone and my delivery of what I'm saying. The delivery of what I'm going to talk about my stepkids with him about is going to be different than my biological kids. It's going to be a lot more sensitive, and we kind of just go from there. But it's not to say that we don't have struggles, but it does get easier, a lot easier.
I feel that so much because I feel like when it comes to my stepkids, I have to like, you just feel differently about them. And you're talking about like having, now you both have biological kids, and it's like, how has that changed how you look at being a stepmom and how you look at your stepkids?
Yeah, that changes so much, honestly. We both knew we wanted to be our own mom, like a bio mom for sure. And we obviously were step parents first. So being a stepmom and then having your own kid, you have these different reservations and concerns. One thing, which I'm sure you experienced too, is like we went into labor and I'm like, pretend you've never done this before, buddy. Like you've never seen a baby come out of a coochie, I promise.
Yeah. Right.
You've never met a OB doctor in your life. You've never seen an ultrasound. That's your first heartbeat you're hearing. I wanted it all to be brand new. And Becca's the opposite. But I was very much like aware that he had already been through all that. So those first I was kind of experiencing on my own in the back of my head. And I was like making him pretend he didn't know what was coming. But then having my ours baby, I was like, oh my gosh, the connection that you have is so unreal. Because the way I put it is stepkids are kind of like your niece and nephew. You're a little more attached and bonded to them than like your friends' kids.
Sure.
But they're definitely not like your kids. It's a completely different attachment, a completely different relationship. But now I can kind of feel for, even though I have a very high conflict bio mom, I can feel for what she's feeling for these kids when I'm like, oh, these things they do are like, ick. But I'm like, she's probably not seeing that because these are her kids, or you definitely get a different perspective and it gives a little more grace, but at the same time, it makes it harder because you see how different the love is. It's on both ends of the spectrum because my kids can do anything and I forgive them, but those stepkids, man.
No, I totally get that. And I've never even really thought about that until you're saying it, like the experience of being pregnant and having your own baby with your husband.
Yeah.
Sometimes like I thought about that too. It's like, while I'm so grateful he had been through it before because he knew kind of like what to expect, and he had experience with babies, and it's not like I'm trying to teach him like, oh, try to do this or change your diaper. Like, he was like ready to go. He knew what to do. It was like like a pit stop. He just like boom, boom, boom. Like, he was great at changing diapers and swaddling and like all of the things. So that was great. But sometimes I did feel a little bit like jealous and upset that I was not like, he wasn't as excited because it's like he had done it 3 times over. This is like his 4th and his 5th kid. So it's like, okay, it's like been there, done that sort of thing, where it's for me, like, this is my first time. Like, oh my God, isn't this so exciting? And he's like, yeah, like, of course he thinks it's exciting, but it's such a different feel.
Did you wonder too in the back of your head a little bit, like, if I wasn't here, would he have another one? Like, does he really want this baby? Like, I felt that sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because when we first started dating and like, just realizing we were getting more serious, it was like, are you open to having more kids? Because that's something I do want to have. And like, obviously it had 3. And like, it's weird, I think, for him to be like, oh, 4 kids. Now he has 5. And I know that was never anything that he was planning on when he was like a 20-year-old guy. Like, I'm going to have 5 kids someday. I'm grateful that he was open to it because he said before he knew that I wanted kids, he was never going to have more kids. 3 kids, he was done. He was like moved on. And
that's what my husband said too.
Really?
Yeah, it was a deal breaker for me. I was like, I just want I want someone to call me mommy in the house.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I was like, I don't want them to have to go to their mom's house. So I can totally resonate with you there, because I was like, well, if you can't, and he, he didn't want to start all over either. It kind of sounds similar to your situation. He's like, you don't get how hard the baby stage is. And I didn't. But thank God I had him there helping me change diapers, and it all works out. But I totally can relate with what you're saying.
How did having your own biological kids change your relationship, or maybe not, or your outlook on being a stepmom?
Oh gosh, there's so many different ways. So first, I think stepmoms in general, you understand the bio mom more than you ever did before, and you also misunderstand them more than you ever did before too, because when you have your own child, it comes with this innate love that Alyssa and I always talk about, this unconditional love. You just love this child so much. So from the bio mom's point of view, I'm like, if I had to send my child to another person's house, even if it was their dad's house, and there was a mom there, even if they're the best person ever, I'm gonna be crazy. So I'm going to be that high conflict bio mom. So for me, I had so much more grace and empathy in those ways. And then I think just everyone parents differently. They talk all about this on social media, like, oh, you should breastfeed, you should formula feed, you should do this, you should do that, screen time, no screen time, da 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 da. There's all these different opinions on the best way to parent and to be a mother. And so I think when you're a stepmom and then you have your biological child, you're like, well, you know what? I don't understand why maybe that bio mom would make that choice, because I would never do that with my own. But you know what? It's not our biological child, so it's theirs. The hard part for stepmoms is we're raising them 50% of the time, most of us. So it's like you have a say, but you don't have a say. So I also think what's really important is that I was able to empathize with my stepkids more, because I saw their feelings. They don't ask for this. And I'm not saying that every stepkid is perfect, because they're not, especially as they grow into adults. I believe that, there's some accountability that needs to happen as they get older. But when they're little, they don't ask for this. They don't want to go to two houses. And my own stepson has said that to me before. I'm really, really close with my youngest stepson. And he has told me before, Becca, I don't want to hurt mom's feelings because I want to stay with you guys one day longer. Or I know it's time to go to my dad's house and my mom's feelings are going to get hurt. And they're both great. So they don't even feel like that. He's just so sensitive and aware. And I'm like, that's so hard for a kid to, have to have those feelings. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it made me have a lot more grace. And then there's some things where I'm like, okay, interesting,
Right. How do you help him deal with those emotions? He sounds like such a sweet, sensitive kid.
Oh, he is. He's the best. Sensitive. He's so sensitive. Me and him are the exact same person. And I'm really close with his mom. It hasn't always been perfect, but we're really close for the most part. We fight like sisters, and
oddly close. He bought her a gift after she had surgery. She bought her a birthday gift, and I'm like, this is a world I'm not familiar with.
Sure.
When we converse with the bio mom, what?
Right.
She's a better person than I am. And, it hasn't always been perfect by any means, but we know what's best for my stepson, and he's most important. And so that's most important to us. So yeah, there's a couple of different ways I help him navigate it, and I tell him that's an adult problem. It's nothing for you to worry about. Mom and dad are not going to have their feelings hurt either way. And then I let both of them know too. We have a group chat. All of us talk about it, and we're super open and super cohesive in that co-parenting relationship, which I've seen be a really big benefit to him.
That's great. That actually just kind of reminds me of certain things. And when I talk to my stepdaughters about things, how do you guys navigate? And I think this would go for bio moms as well, just in general. My biological kids are only 2 and 9 months. So I'm sure once they get a little bit older, it'll be different. But just dealing with situations when you're chatting with them privately, do you always go to your husband and tell them everything that's going on? Or do you feel like you can keep those things that you talk about privately, between you two? How does that work? Or how do you guys navigate that?
That's such a good question. I think that changes too with the ebb and flow and depending on the situation. But typically, yeah. I mean, I think I told you this before, but in our other podcast, my stepson told me that he had a girlfriend at school or a crush on someone, and he was like, "Don't tell daddy." I went off to tell daddy. Daddy, I went off to tell my husband. Yeah. So then that's just our relationship. And he knew I probably was going to, but I said, look, don't you dare tell him that I let you know, because I love that I'm in this place where he gave me information. But whenever there's like discipline issues, yeah, I mean, my husband has to lay down the law because he's the parent, and I'm going to remain the fun aunt. I'm the aunt where I can say, you can't do this or that. This is still my house. But, I'm not the one to put a kid in timeout. I'll tell my husband he needs to go timeout, and he'll go over and just put him in timeout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. What is something that you wish your husband understood more about being a stepmom?
There's so much.
That's a loaded question. Oh my gosh. I wish
What
he understood.
top? Yeah.
It's like having someone's kids in your house all the time. You don't get to say, okay, we're going to have dinner now. You need to go back to your home. Because and then the mess we see, it's like seeing someone else's mess. Like that mess bugs me. I get that I have the same pile of clothes in my room, and my daughter has a pile of clothes in her room too. But the pile of clothes in the boys' room,
I'm with you on that. That drives me so nuts. I feel like, and that's something I'm like, it's hard for me to like say that to my husband too. I'm like, can they pick up their shit? Like they walk in the house and they put their backpacks down on the, and I'm like, if they were my kids, I'd probably pick up the backpack,
it's making me itchy.
Put them away. But I'm like, pick up your damn backpacks, put them in your room. Or like they put their silverware in the sink, and I hate dishes in the sink. Put them in the dishwasher. And like, I could easily say, can you guys put your dishes in the dishwasher when you're done? But I'm like, Matt, do we tell them to put their dishes in the dishwasher when they're done?
Yeah.
Well, it comes from the husband different. Like their dad is, well, for most people, I feel like.
Yeah.
And it's like, he's laying down the law. He's my parent. I have to listen to him, hopefully.
Right.
But, and it's the same thing with like, if they smell.
Yes. Oh my God. Same. My stepson. Yes.
Puberty boys?
Yeah.
No.
Boys in general.
Becca's like, oh, when your son is bigger, you're not even gonna care. And I'm like, I guess. And that's where I can have sympathy for their mom, or empathy, I guess. Like, I understand that she doesn't notice when they come over and they're like,
right.
I'm sure she does notice, but it's just like not as bothersome. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. They don't mind it. But
right.
it bugs me because because it's not mine. And that's a really hard thing to get someone to understand. Like, I can't even put it into words here. So how do I tell my husband, like, I love them, but I don't love their mess. I love how they smell. I don't like their manners.
Right. Because then it's like, you can say your own kid smells and tell them to go take a shower. Yeah. But then it's like to tell your it's like, I feel like bad. I don't want to like offend them. I don't want to hurt their feelings. But like, why is it that I can tell my own kid, I'd be like, yeah, go smell, you friggin' stink. It's different when it's not your kid.
It's so different. And no one understands unless you're a stepmom. Like, they just truly do not get it.
Yeah.
They really don't. No, for me, I wish my husband understood when my oldest stepson moved in that it was truly like living with a stranger that I paid for.
Right.
That I shop for groceries, like I was used to having my pants off. I don't know why that was such a luxury for me, but like I liked walking around without my pants off, or it was just me and my husband. Like, we could just do whatever, turn up the music, party at nighttime, do whatever. And it's like, you walk downstairs and I'm like, oh, I don't have pants on. Hi, stepson. And he's 14 and it's not his fault. Like, he's just. But it was just like, that was so, so hard for me. And I think when they're older and they come into your life, there's so many different, how do I say this, parenting styles that have been ingrained in them that are really, really difficult to redo and
they're already in their habits.
They're already in their habits. So who am I to say, oh, well, we don't really do this. It's like, well, you're 13, like, this is how you've been raised your whole life, and now you just came to live with me. So, like, who am I to say that your mom did everything wrong just because we might have different parenting styles? It doesn't mean that she's wrong, and it doesn't mean that I'm wrong or I'm right. It's just different. But that puts stepmoms in a really uncomfortable place.
Totally.
Leah, you have a little one too. So are you like me, like in the middle of the night if I'm going to the crib because baby's crying? It sounds like I'm going to the crib. No, I'm going to my baby's crib. He's crying. I jolt out. I'm wearing like probably just a shirt in bed. And
Yeah.
I have to think, are my stepkids here? Do I need to put shorts on because I'm going to pass their room, or they're coming down for water in the middle of the night, or they're not in bed yet, God forbid, like older kids. Oh, and
I think that too.
you
Yeah.
have to stop and think before you're going to feed your baby in the middle of the night if you need to put pants on. And it's just like these little luxuries that people that are part of a nuclear family don't understand.
Totally.
You don't enjoy it until it's gone.
I feel like similar to that. So my baby's room is right across the hall from my stepdaughter's, and they share a room. And he's 9 months, so it's like he could sleep through like me vacuuming the floor. I could be right next to him with a friggin' vacuum, but like if I walk out of his room and my knee cracks, he's gonna wake up.
Yeah.
So I get such anxiety when my stepdaughters are here. I mean, they want to just like be on their phones and watch TV, and there's a bathroom right there too. So then they're like taking a shower at midnight and like watching and I'm like, oh my God, can you please just tell the girls to be quiet? Because then now I'm not gonna. My husband doesn't get up with the baby. I do because like he can't get him down the way I can. He's gonna get him down. It'll take him like hours. You know how it is.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's like I am the one that now has to suffer because the girls wanted to like laugh with their and they're not doing anything wrong. They're girls. They're teenagers. Like
I was like, they're just being kids, but it's like
kids. But I'm like, oh my God, can you please tell them to be quiet? They're being loud and they're gonna wake up the baby. It just stresses
I'm the exact same. I've talked about this many times too before. We live in a farmhouse style, so it's a one story, but it's like very split up, except the boys are in a Jack and Jill with my baby boy. And so I tell them I tell them to go use my shower, which I cannot stand. It's so disgusting. But I'd rather have them go shower in my shower than shower right next to my sleeping baby.
Right.
oh yeah.
And if either one of them wakes up my baby because they're too loud, they're banging on the wall in their room for whatever reason, that kid is on my hit list for the rest of the week. Like I cannot forgive them for that.
Oh, yeah.
You woke up my baby. You can't even fix it. I have to fix it.
Exactly. And that's why I think it's so frustrating. And I think another thing, like snowballing here, I've never talked about this. My husband knows I'm psycho about it. But when they come over and they're sick, and I'm like,
not
the
the baby.
anxiety, or when they tell me, like, he's like, oh, yes, like she's sick. And I'm like, can she stay home? Like, I don't want her to
But
get
our
my
husbands
baby.
are like, no, I want them here. I want my
Which
kids
I
here.
get. I get
know.
that. Like if my kid was sick, I'd want to be with them. I'd want to comfort them. I want to make sure that they're good and like okay. And it's not a reason to not see my own kid. So like I get it. But then I'm like, they're gonna get the baby sick, and like, what if he gets
I'm
what is it,
so
RSV
psycho.
and like all these like I have such anxiety.
Oh yeah,
knows
my
my
son
baby
had RSV,
Yeah.
COVID, the flu, everything.
Oh my God.
It was
I
the
know,
worst
not to
nightmare.
scare you. My baby was in the hospital for 2 weeks with
I know.
RSV when he was like 4 months old. And so I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Where do we pick up RSV? Like
Right.
I live at home with a
Right.
baby. We don't
Totally.
go out.
But they're just like, they're always sick. Always. I just like every
Always.
week one of them is sick and I'm just like, oh my God, please just
I'll
stay.
have
And
to
then they're
send
like
you the
holding my
link.
toddler and I'm like, oh my God, like don't touch him.
Like you have like a Lysol bottle in one hand and your baby in the other, and you just go
That's
behind them with the Lysol.
literally. I'm like Lysoling everything. I'm like, can she just stay in her room? And that makes me feel so bad. Like I want to hang out with her. I want to like we watch
yeah.
our shows together and do all that. But I'm like, I don't want them to come near my kids.
Oh no!
Oh, I
they
made
touch a
my
doorknob.
stepson wear a mask for a little bit because
My husband would absolutely kill me, but
Same.
no, my husband made him because he was so sick and my son was so little and he had been
Yeah.
sick so much. He goes, first of all, I don't want Becca to get sick or the baby. He goes, and I don't want to get sick. He's like, so you need to wear a
That's where it
mask.
is. That's
Yeah.
it.
that's why, yeah. Oh my gosh. But it's
know,
it's
husband.
crazy because it's like I feel nuts sometimes and I feel like such a bad person for like thinking these things. And it's something that I would never like want my stepkids to ever feel that I think differently of them or it's their fault or any of it. But it's just these are things that I've just kept in and not even verbalized. So like even just being I feel like I'm in therapy right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can like get this off my chest.
You're not kidding. So many people tell us that just saying things on Sundays in our little confessional is like therapy for them. And I think that that's the thing. We want to be everyone's stepmom best friend because if anyone doesn't have one, then they're suffering. They don't have the outlet that we had. And so we're hoping to be everyone's like virtual stepmom best friend. Maybe we can get everyone together eventually in the world, but
And we
until
need
then,
to
they can-
normalize it. We need to
Yeah.
normalize it. Like, this is hard. So many older women, my mom was a stepmom too, and they've reached out to us and they've said, I so wish that I had something like this, because I always felt bad for having these thoughts. I thought I wasn't normal. And so, like, that was what Alyssa and I's goal was. It's like, we're not trying to bash anyone. We're not trying to bash bio moms. We're not trying to bash the stepkids. Like, we get that this is hard for all parties, but for stepmoms, we're trying to normalize these feelings are real, and it doesn't make you a bad person if you feel like this. And when you
we're
know that,
human.
yeah, when you know other stepmoms are feeling similarly, you're like, okay, like, I'm not that bad of a person, you know?
It's so true, because I feel like we're just getting to a point now in society about talking about problems as moms and the things that moms deal with, and how hard it is to be a mom in today's day and age, and all of it. And like the things like that our moms dealt with that they never talked about because you just had to do it. You shut up and you deal with it. You didn't talk about postpartum depression. You didn't talk about, you know, the struggles of breastfeeding or anxiety, anything. So never mind talking about stepmom issues or stepmom thing. Like, that's just like so far off of the beaten path that people don't normalize any of these things. So I think what you guys are doing is so incredible, and I'm sure it's helping so many women feel seen and heard and just like feel a little bit more normal.
Well, we certainly hope so. I know it's like we get so much hate and backlash for it, like equally as much love as we get probably.
Yeah.
But we know that it's just because people can't come to terms with like the idea of maybe there's not an evil stepmom. Like, what do we do if that narrative doesn't exist?
Right.
There's no evil stepmother. We just are humans that are trying to survive without a playbook, you know?
Yeah.
What do you do with that? People hand you something that you never expected, and we're just doing the best we can, bottom line.
And moms
Absolutely.
get so much grace. It's like, there's no rule book for being a mom. It was way harder than I anticipated it was going to be. I literally said this recently on an episode. Like, I was like, oh, it's just like in the movies, the baby sleeps all night. Nope, that's not how it is.
It's on you.
You know?
Right,
And so it's
right.
like, there's no like rule book for that. And we can talk about that, about how difficult it is. But then when a stepmom says it, we're evil, we hate the kids, we hate everyone. It's like, no, we love them. Like, that's not
Right.
the case, but you know.
Yeah, like, why can you complain about your own kid and like say whatever, but you can't say anything about your, like, if you're supposed to, you know, it's supposed to be equal, why can't you say that? But like, I agree. I feel like I can't say anything bad, even to my husband. I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong things. I don't want to think that I think any less of them or love them any less. But it's true. It's almost like this double standard.
It's damned if
Definitely.
you do, damned if you don't, for sure. It is a double
100%.
standard, though.
Fill in the blank. Being a stepmom taught me blank.
Gave me grit. I feel like I
Okay.
have a toughness. It taught me to be tough and, you know, gritty. I think I'm really just, I can take a lot more and I can handle so much more than I thought I could.
What about you, Becca?
It taught me that I'm stronger than I thought I was, I think, and that there is just so much more work we have to do in research and in society when it comes to blended families. And I think also how important marriage is. While it's also so difficult, divorce, you see these blended families and you see how it affects every single person, the kids, the bio mom, the bio dad, and then the stepmom. And so I think maybe even bringing like more awareness to just marriage and making it as strong as possible so that, you know, we don't have to have as many stepmoms in the world, but there always will be, and we'll be here.
Yeah.
So,
And we're making them feel seen and less alone. That's what you guys are doing.
yes. Yes.
I think what you guys are doing is just so incredible, and I'm so grateful to have you on the pod. I'd love to have you back again. I feel like I know you guys so well now, and I feel like, I'm going to come to you guys if I have a problem. Because I have no one else to talk to.
You have no option. You have to.
You gotta get on my level.
You did it. Somewhere between the laundry and the meltdowns, you made time for another episode of Hot Mom Shit. If something today made you feel a little less alone, text it to the mom who could use the reminder too. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss a new episode, and come hang out with me at the Leah Vandale. Remember, babe, none of us have our shit together.